here, Betty. Yes, come here, little puppy. Betty says hello, everybody. Yes, say hello to everybody. Hello, everyone. All right, but it is Sunday. It is Easter. It is 420. It's crazy, you know. Um, excuse me. I'm still just waking up. It's only 7:22 a.m. here, and I am doing this show very early because I've got a lot of stuff going on today. Um, but anyway, everything's going well here at Potsquatch Growers. My God, this plant is looking insane. I'm really excited to release the 2 weeks of flower update video for everyone tomorrow. I think a lot of people popped in and said hi that aren't here, but I'll say hi. What's up, Soul Price? What's up, Jay Green? What's up, Hookstagram? One love. Happy 420 and Easter to you as well. Hookstagram. All right. And, this plant is chugging along, though. It is chugging along. We have not done a heavy defoliation. We'll take a look at the plant in the video tomorrow and decide whether we're going to be doing a sort of a big defoliations. I don't foresee us doing that because really, at the end of the day, this plant is doing so well. Just kind of leaving it alone at the moment. The stretch is really set in. One branch we had to bend over a little bit. Other than that, everything seems to be slowing down and kind of coming to terms with itself. And really, it's just going to turn into a large bosomous lady. Do you want to come say hi, Moggy, too? Come here, buddy. Come here. Mog's going to say hi, too. Come here, Moggy. Say hello to everybody. There's Mr. Moggy, Mr. Mogwai, and little Betty. Oh, so cute, so cute. All right. Sorry. Since we've only been awake for a little bit, the dogs are demanding attention. Hi, Betty. Yes. What's up, Pilgor? Good to see you, buddy. All right. Happy anniversary to you and Dopey, my friend. I am assuming there's a big party happening on your property in Arizona today. Lots of marijuana, a lot of celebrations. I will be there in spirit, my friend. Right now, it is not safe for Canadians, especially outspoken Canadians with covered in tattoos like I am, to go to America. So I will be there in spirit. I'll come visit you guys once the stupidity calms down, if you know what I'm saying. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. What is everyone doing for 420 today? I mean, it's weird because legalization happened in Canada like 7 or 8 years ago now. 7 or 8 years ago, I guess, give or take roughly. And again, I'm just pulling a number out of my ass because I don't actually remember how long it's been now. Every year, the 420 celebrations here in Vancouver have gotten less and less and less in terms of, normally we have a big event down at the art gallery. I went last year, and where we normally set up 420 was taken over by pro-Palestinian protests, and where, yes, I fully support everyone's right to protest. Could they not have left it alone? 420 was our day. It was the one day a year where we did things. So it was weird, and then it kind of got shoved to the other side of the art gallery, and it was this sort of tiny, kind of sad, pathetic excuse of an event, and that's okay. These things happen. And then there's a couple of other ones that happened in other locations of Vancouver, but they were also tiny. It's not like what it once was. There was once upon a time in Vancouver where 420 meant tens of thousands of people would flock to the streets. We would all meet downtown. There would be hundreds of vendors. We're talking at least 160 to 250 different vendors. You had people walking around. You had different companies being present, both gray zone and legal. You would have people dabbing, people smoking, people doing giveaways, people just basically getting stoned, being peaceful, being joyous together. And that is not the case anymore. So, I mean, I'm sure there must be something happening here in Vancouver today, but I haven't even looked into it. I have not even looked into it because being that it is a Sunday, my old stroked out priest father who's retired, he's been actually working again. He's been running a little church out in Richmond, which is a city, a part of Greater Vancouver where our airport is. And, to show support for the old man, the old warhorse that's still going, I'm going to go out. I'll start my Forward 20 with hanging out with all of you for a bit. Then I'm going to drive out to Richmond, and then I'm going to go be supportive to the dad of the Potsquatch, and then I'm going to turn around I'm going to go drive and pick up a friend at the ferry out in Whistler. So I got to drive through Richmond, through Vancouver, through North Vancouver, through West Vancouver. These are all different cities, by the way. And then I'll drive up into the mountains into where Horseshoe Bay is, and I'll pick up a friend, and then we're going to come out, back out this way. And then I'm going to go out and get stoned, and I'm going to go eat far too much lasagna and pizza at a little family-owned restaurant called Johnny's up the street from my house. And like, honestly, that's kind of my plan. I'm going to go buy cheesecake, come home, get more stoned, and eat cheesecake. Is it a function of that 420s fizzling it out? Is it a function of I'm older and responsible now? Like, I mean, I went to bed at a decent time. I was up this morning at 6 a.m., I got showered, I got shaved, and ready to do a show. And here I am doing a show, and it's not even 7:30 in the morning yet on my first day off. It's, wow, aging. But it is what it is. Let's read some of these messages here. I apologize if I missed that. Joe Burns, happy Easter and 420 to you, buddy. All right. Soul Price says it's 10:22 a.m. here in Ohio or Ohino. I'm pretty sure you meant Ohio, but I'm not sure. Hell yeah. Sounds good, Pilgor. What's up, WB Growers? Happy 420 to you too, buddy. Hi, Betty. The dogs are just sitting here. They're like, pay attention to us. Why are you doing a live stream? I'm just reading here. Bear with me, everybody. Yeah, so I'm going to touch on what Pilgor said. He says it's fizzled out. Arizona's lost money, they said, in sales. I'm assuming you mean that Arizona is purporting losses in terms of the cannabis industry overall. What's up, Swamp Eyes? Cheers and happy 420. CSL, RC Lawrence, stay blessed to you as well. The excitement is over. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if I would say that the excitement is over, but I would say, though, that I think it's shifted, which in one sense, right, okay, we could take that 420 is kind of fizzled out a bit as a positive thing, okay? Positive. Whoa, what are you saying, Potsquatch? How could you say that people aren't celebrating our holiday in the ways they used to? How is this a positive thing? Well, it is a positive thing. In that 420, at least here, and I'm assuming most places, started out as a protest. It was a protest to fight for our rights to cannabis, a fight for our rights to medical cannabis, a fight for our rights to partake in the herb of which we all love. And so that fight is still going on for some in many places, but like let's half of the states in America, state level legal. Canada's been federally legal for the better part of a decade, it seems now, which is insane when I think about it. We've had medical cannabis legal for like 30 years. Canadians have had the right to grow their own medical cannabis for a very long time. If you walk the streets of Vancouver, pretty much everywhere in the city is adorned with pot shops everywhere. It is very normal to see people of all walks of life in Vancouver, and I'm assuming most parts of Canada, to smoke a joint walking down the street. Young, old, different races, different cultures, different businesses, different socioeconomic brackets. Everybody's partaking in the herb. And nobody lifts an eye to it, right? Nobody's going to look at me weird for standing outside smoking a joint. And if they do, you know that they're either old or from a country where that's not normal. So in a sense, we could say that 420 being less now than it once was is a positive thing, because it shows that times have changed. It shows that things are more socially acceptable. It shows that normalcy of cannabis consumption, working in the cannabis industry, is here or is coming. I mean, it doesn't mean that the industry's perfect. It doesn't mean that there's things that need to change. It doesn't mean that it was, at least in Canada, done for the rich, and only the rich who could afford to pay, to play could do it. I mean, hell, we would have had a farm almost 10 years ago if it wasn't millions and millions of dollars in Canada to start up a tiny micro grow. Joe Burns says, I'm cooking a 10-pound Pernell. Got homemade wine and tons of homegrown. Family coming over. Hope everyone is having a good and safe holiday. Joe Burns, that sounds beautiful. Joe Burns, that sounds great. You know, family, weed, meals, Easter, homemade wine. I mean, that sounds like a beautiful 420 to me. You know, at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad thing that we don't have to be like on the war path every 420 anymore, fighting and screaming, you know. And it's funny to me, and this isn't meant to be a stab out to the late, great Neil Magnuson, who did a lot of great positive work in the community. But every year, even after legalization, right? And again, the industry's not perfect, but every year you would go to this sort of slowly dwindling 420 events, and it's still, they were trying to put it up like there was some great injustice happening. There are injustices in terms of low barrier access cannabis to those who cannot afford store prices, who need it for fighting opioid addiction. Totally on board with that. 100% support that. But they kept dragging their feet, fighting and whining at the government because they refused to play within the realms and ramifications of things. And they were acting like there's some huge, big fucking thing was happening. It wasn't. It's just, you know, you're not going to get it exactly the way you want. That's the government. When has the government ever done anything exactly the way we want it to do something? But they did it regardless. It may not be perfect. It may take decades of stuff. But a lot of people began to shift their perspectives on things, right? Fighting for inclusivity, fighting for low barrier access. These are all important things, but it's not the fight that we had 20 years ago. It's not the way it once was. It's not this militant, almost aggression that is required of the pot community to stand up for our rights anymore, which again, I'm going to say is a positive thing, because really at the end of the day, you know, peace, love, and pot, right? Pot, cannabis smokers, we're not known as the most aggressive of people, right? I remember the old jokes back in the day. Oh, man hugged to death by stoners in, you know, such and such park, right? It's like, oh, hey, man, you know, like that was the danger, right? So the fact is we're living in a time, not all of us, but many of us now. Germany's got legal cannabis access. New Zealand even has shitty but and overpriced medical cannabis access. These are steps in the right direction. These may not be perfect. It's not even perfect here, but these are steps in the right direction. Steps in the right direction of the evolution of the social idea of cannabis. We can actually just be stoners now, guys, girls, these and theys. We can just sit here and smoke some weed and be peaceful. We can sit here, eat an edible, and stare at the wall if we choose. We can go for a walk out in the woods. We can talk to the flora and fauna. We can go out in our canoe and smoke a dub. We could even go to church this morning and smoke a joint outside of a church and go into the church. Some people may still turn their eyes up at that, but there's nothing illegal or wrong about what we're doing. I won't lie to you, part of me is contemplating getting stoned before I go to the church my dad's doing a service at today, because I know from his reports that they're all even older than his ass, and they're all quite conservative. So I'm going to wear my Potsquatch Growers Army t-shirt. I'm going to drive up with my Cadillac cranked, and I'm going to cause a ruckus. And like, oh my God, who's this dipshit coming? Hey, we're allowed to have neighbors. Hey, come on. I'm trying to use my brain. Hey, this is them protecting the house. Yes, very dangerous puppies. Betty, that's enough. But like, you know, hey, come on. Hey, it's there 422, man. Hey, stop. We're allowed to have neighbors. We live in a city. Betty, stop. Moggy, stop. Get down. Ignore the windows. All right. Oh, you shut up. Don't tell me off, Betty. Sorry, everybody. For fuck's sakes, guys. You need to eat an edible, I think. You're all haughty right now. Look at her. She's all like, I'm a danger zone. I'm going to lick everybody to death. Okay, that's enough, Betty. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So basically, we're allowed to be stoners now. Like we've, at least in part, gotten what we've all been bitching for and fighting for and whining about. I haven't been whining. Not all of you have been whining, but some people I've found awful whiny in the cannabis community. And yes, I am pointing to the cannabis culture people and how they've been speaking about pot. It's always been the same tired message every fucking year. And it's like, change happens, it's not good enough. Forward movement happens. Rather than being thankful and acknowledging where we've come from and where we still need to go and shifting gears and shifting our rhetoric, shifting our language, they don't. And it's like, okay, when's enough? When can we actually finally say we did it? I'd say we've done it. We've got a lot of work to do, but it's a new chapter. We're now fighting for proper legislature, proper inclusion, sure, in the industry. But we've got it, guys, girls, these days, at least in Canada. And like I said, half of America, state level legal, you know what I'm saying? Germany's even got it. Like when I lived in Germany many moons ago, there was once upon a time when Uncle Potsquatch lived in Germany. I was married to a German woman and I lived there for a few years. And I'll tell you a funny story, okay? So Uncle Potsquatch had just gotten to Germany. Yes, I smuggled weed into Germany, I will admit. I won't tell you how I did it, but I will admit that I did do it at the time. This is going back many years ago. And so I got to Germany. Got to the in-laws' house, and I decided, oh, you know what? Fuck, I haven't smoked a joint in a hot minute. I'm going to roll a joint. So I roll a joint, I put it in my pack of smokes, and then I step out to go for a walk with the wife, you know. And so we're standing in Ingolstadt, which is where Mary Shelley was from, Frankenstein, all of that fun stuff. So we're standing downtown Ingolstadt. Cute, quaint little place. It's Bavarian. It's a lot of old people. A lot of old people will stare at you out their windows like you're some nincompoop because they know you're not German and you're not from there. And I decided to pull out the joint and light it up. To me, as a Canadian, growing up the way I did, like even before legalization happened in Canada, we could smoke anywhere we wanted to, predominantly. I mean, nobody would give you a hard time about it. Like I was able to just pull out a joint and smoke it in most places in Vancouver my entire life, both as a teenager and as a young adult. In Vancouver, right? Like we've always been socially vastly more accepting of cannabis than anywhere else. So for me, I'm like, oh, right, fuck yeah, man. It's been like a hot minute. I'm going to get stoned. Oh, man, I'm in Ingolstadt. I'm going to go eat some schnitzel. I'm going to have some spätzle. I'm going to go walk around. And then my wife in front of me stops in her tracks and turns around to me like, oh, I'm doing the worst thing in the world. But she smoked more weed than I did, so I was confused. I'm like, what's wrong, babe? Like, what the problem is? And she just looks at me. She goes, we're in Germany. You can't fucking do that. And I go, what do you mean I can't do that? I'm doing it. She goes, marijuana in Germany is the legal equivalent of cocaine. And if anything, cocaine is more socially acceptable to us than smoking marijuana. We're in Bavaria, Josh. Put that fucking thing out. I'm like, oh shit. So I put it out. And she's like, you gotta go smoke it in the farmer's fields. What? Go out for a walk in the farmer's fields. That's where you can smoke your cannabis, Josh. And so it was this surreal thing for me, you know, in my early 20s, having to go hide to smoke weed. It was odd to me, right? Like, and you know, you'd get in a shitload of trouble in Germany at this time for having like 2 or 3 grams of weed, which seems dumb because most of their weed sucked so much anyway. And I'm like, oh my God, I could smoke this whole eighth. I barely get high. Like, what the fuck are you all on about? What the fuck problem is, right? But Germany is shifting. A lot of places in Europe have begun shifting. You know, hell, Brazil's, every drug's legal. Let's go for a vacation to Brazil, everybody. Not that I'm advocating the usage of other drugs. I just like nicotine. I like caffeine. I drink a shit ton of coffee and tea. I personally am a drinker, so I like my beer too. I like my marijuana. And, well, I like the ladies. These are my vices. I don't need anything. Well, and I occasionally eat magic mushrooms. Let's not lie to ourselves about that. Sometimes everybody needs a little bit of Alice in Wonderland in their life. But, you know, at the end of the day, right? Like, I mean, look at us. We're 2025, you know? The world's regressing. The global economy's falling. America's in a totalitarian fascist attempt to throw away its American dream. Canada is more unified than we've ever been in our history. That's one great thing that Trump has done, I'll tell you that. In Canada, the left and the right, for the most part, except the Maple MAGA idiots, which represent like this tiny little subsect of Canada. So like 95% of our country, we're getting along, we're unified, we're breaking down interprovincial trade barriers, we're doing business deals with other parts of the world, our dollar's going up. Things are actually pretty good right now. I can go smoke a joint. I can walk into a shop and buy marijuana. I can go still and see my local plug, which is what I did yesterday, because again, I have a lot of the weed I grew, but it was highly sort of satty in my feel for my tastes. And I was like, well, for 420, Uncle Potsquatch needs something cushy. So I went and got some Master Kush Ultra. You know, the world overall, when it comes to at least cannabis, is in a better place right now. And that is a beautiful thing to see. I think that is what we should be celebrating. And we should be celebrating and being happy for that. For those of you who still live in a place where it's illegal, don't worry, times are a-changing. They are coming. Just certain parts of the world are a little bit further behind other parts of the world. I mean, Canada was ahead of the world in terms of medical cannabis by decades, which is odd to me, I don't understand. But it's okay. Everything's moving in the right way. Happy 420, everybody. Happy Easter. Happy Zombie Jesus Day. To those who are Christian who are upset by that, I grew up in the church. I'm the son of two priests. It's funny. Get over yourselves. It's a joke. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Soul Price. If you're going to be drinking or smoking today in celebrations, please don't drink and smoke and drive. I know that many people actually can smoke a little bit and drive, so I'm not going to, especially when it comes to a medical patient who is a pain patient or this or that, many medical studies have actually shown that they're better drivers while they have their medicine. Our friend Glenn Wells, who replaced Neil Magnuson on the I think it's called the THC show. My brain's blanking at the moment. They do it every Tuesday. It's live on Facebook. They're not allowed to stream on YouTube anymore, but I think the show has come out after the fact. But he's their new host now. He used to be sort of a segment person on the show before Neil passed. Rest in peace, Neil. Happy 420. But he recently participated in this big study that was being done up at the local university here in Vancouver about cannabis consumption and driving. And it was really funny because if I'm remembering what he was saying to me briefly when we were talking about it correctly, he was just like, yeah, so they want me to smoke like a tiny joint and then drive. And I'm like, okay, well, this isn't a real experiment. Glenn, you smoke so much fucking weed that like you won't even feel anything, Smoking one joint won't do shit to Glenn. I've watched Glenn smoke countless joints from the drive from Mission to Vancouver filled with shatter. And the man was fine. And I'm sitting there going like, man, if I smoked that much weed before driving, I'd have a fucking anxiety attack and a meltdown in my head. Not that I can't do it, but it's just not for me. I don't like to get stoned and drive. That's not for me. I don't drink and drive. I don't smoke and drive. Just because for me personally, I don't feel comfortable with it. Not to mention, a big part of my feelings on that has to do with the fact that, my government's pretty strict on that. So I don't need to lose my license. I don't need to get a DUI here in Canada because, well, not that I have any plans of going to the States right now. But if I did have that, I wouldn't be allowed to go to the States. And for me, in general, one day I might have to fly down there to shoot some shit and stuff. 1 second here. I'm just reading everybody. Bear with me. Just making sure I haven't missed anything pertinent or important. I don't think so. I think we're doing all right. All right. Oops, shit. There we go. Hey, Yeti Mountain Trading. Cheers and happy 420 and Easter to you, bud. Oh, dude. Okay, so here, the government in Ohio made it legal this year, so I can just drive across the bridge and get goods. I'm in NK. I don't really know all the states perfectly in terms of their abbreviations. Oh, yeah, online bigot radio, eh? Yeah, dude, Glenn is a machine when it comes to doing dabs. I've watched this man do something stupid like 60 plus dabs back to back. Like, just goes. And I'm like, I do one dab. And I'm like, whoa, that was pretty intense, right? Like, I'm not a dabber. I've never claimed to be a dabber. I'm not a, you know, I don't mind little vape pens. I don't mind like a kind of like a shatter wax or rosin pen where I can like preload my own stuff into it and then, you know, hit that. Um, but when it comes to actually, like, I own a dab rig. To be fair, the dab rig's for guests. It's not for Potsquatch, Uncle Potsquatch. It's just like, man, like, I don't need to dab. I can't do it, man. I'm just not built that way. You know, especially as I get older. Like, maybe young me could have done dabbing. Like, maybe me in high school would have been really into dabs because, like, I loved bong rips back then. I used to do all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? But Glenn, my God, that man can dab. The man is a powerful dabber. The divine sorcerer. Hello to you, my friend. How are you today? Happy Easter, happy 420, happy Zombie Jesus Day. One second here, I'm just reading, making sure I haven't missed anything. All right, good. I haven't missed anything. But, you know, but hey, if you like dabs, power to you. You know, I like making dabs, but it's like funny. Like, I smoke a lot of what would be called dabs. You know, I smoke crumbles, I smoke rosins. I make a lot of rosin. I like making rosin. Rosin is one of my favorite things to make, actually. Well, my favorite thing to make is actually hash, but because I love hash. I could smoke hash all day, funnily enough. Like, I don't even smoke that much flour anymore, you know? Like, I smoke normal sized joints now. Like, if 18-year-old me saw who I am now, he'd just be like, you bitch. I'd be like, shut up, we grew up, you know? Not to imply that if you smoke giant joints that you're not grown up. It's just, for me personally, that's what growing up has meant, you know? But I could smoke hash all day. Like, I could sit here and just smoke hash nonstop, funnily enough. I love hash. Hash is my favorite thing to make because I love it. But rosin is a very close second to that. I love, you know, pressing flour. I love pressing keef. I love pressing hash. I love pressing all these different types of things to do all these wonderful, fun things, you know? But I don't dab any of these things, though, right? Like, I'll put it in a joint. I'll put it on a rolling paper. I'll put it in a blunt. I'll put it in a bong. That's one of my favorite things, funnily enough. It's like, I'll take rosins or crumbles, and then, like, I'll load up a big bowl, and I'll, like, half smoke the bowl, so it's, like, half burnt, half not. And then that's when I mix in a bunch of, like, rosins or dabs, and then it turns into this just, like, perfect ever smoking thing. So you hit that a bit, then you put some hash on top of that, and then you got this sort of trifecta super mix, and it's just wonderful. And I'll just smoke shit like that all night. Yo, Miss K's Garden. I think you're doing a giveaway today. I won't lie to you. When I saw it, I have mixed feelings at first because, you know, we all know Uncle Potsquatch has a big beef with Mars Hydro in general. But that's my own qualms and quabbles. I will say that it seems like Mars Hydro's at least improved what they're building for people, so that is at least a positive thing. But I think you're doing a giveaway today, aren't you? Have you already done it, Miss K? Or you can tell people about that. I don't mind. I will support. I don't support Mars Hydro, but I support you. And I support people getting free shit. So, hey, Keithley Stoned. Happy 420. Happy Easter to you as well. God, I love coffee. I think I drink way too much coffee in a modern day and age, but it is how I survive working an adult job these days. Yeah, so Justin Zorns, you know, we haven't been doing tons of lives, and I apologize for that. One thing that I've just been trying to kind of come to terms with is navigating, juggling, working a full-time job that is actually very grueling. Like, you know, like, yeah, bartending before when I was doing that a lot. Like, yeah, you get tired bartending because you're dealing with drunks all night, but, like, wasn't that big of a deal. It was, like, a different type of work. I work really manual labor now half the time. I'm the fleet manager for my company's fleet of vehicles. I am responsible for repairing and taking care of over 38 different vehicles, from Mercedes to smart cars, which is technically Mercedes, to Volkswagens, to Toyota Priuses, to giant Chevy buses, and then fixing buildings. I work at all of our buildings. There's 7 buildings in total. We're building 2 more. And I'm all over the place. So I'm driving a ton. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I never take my tools out of my damn trunk anymore because I've always got to make sure I got the shit I need to do. Oh, Mars Hydro themselves is doing a giveaway. Okay. It's as horrible as it sounds. It makes me feel better, Miss K. I thought you were the one who was doing a giveaway of a Mars Hydro thing, and I was like, oh, Miss K, no. Don't support the beast. Sorry, Miss K. I apologize. Um, okay, that makes more sense. And I oddly feel a little bit better now. Not that it's my place to have an opinion either way, what you do on your channel at all. I just feel like an old motherly hen to everyone in the channels that have come over the years, and I'll always have my opinions like an opinionated grandma. Bear with me here. Okay, what was I saying before I got distracted by that? Somebody sparked my brain. Miss K's thing. What was I saying right before Miss K's thing? What was I saying? He doesn't remember either. Shoot, someone sparked my brain so I can get back on track. What was I saying? Oh, right. Thank you. You just sparked it, Justin Zorns. So the jobs are going really well, but it's been hard to navigate, working manual labor. A lot of my commute times in the mornings are quite long sometimes. I've got anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half on the beginning side of my day. And then often I get stuck. So I've been at our West Van building a lot. So oddly, the West Van building is one of the closest buildings to my house because of traffic though. Trying to get out of West Vancouver, which has no real easy route to really get back to Vancouver. Traffic gets absolutely horrific. The bridge I typically go over was built in the early 30s. It was not designed for modern Vancouver. So gorgeous bridge, but basically fucking useless if there's traffic or if an accident happens and then you're stuck there for hours. So, and then I'm just tired when I get home. So it's I'm feeling better. I'm working out again. I'm eating better. So I'm getting back into the place where I'm slowly phasing back into, regular content release. So what my goal is to get back to at least one live stream a week. Obviously, we're doing the weekly updates, so that's nice. We got the grow going again, even if it is just one plant. And then trying to, at bare minimum, once a month, making an educational video. Do you know what I'm saying? I've already got the next educational video. Oh, Mug, you're so cute. Planned out. So that one will be releasing this month. I referenced it, I think, in either the last video or the last live we did. And I'm going to be talking about how different variables of different locales, okay, so from elevation to all these other things, affect how genetics themselves react. Because, a very commonplace thing is, you see a grow done in one place in the world and you expect this genetic is going to do X, but that genetic will never do X with where you live. And then people get pissed off thinking that they're getting ripped off. And I'm like, no, that's not the breeder's fault. It's not the cannabis's fault. It's just different genetics do different things in different areas. So we're going to kind of delve into that. I've been making notes. I've been jotting things down to kind of touch base on that. You know what I mean? So that's fun. Tomorrow, city traffic is not great here. And sometimes it really sucks, Dan. But it's not Toronto. Toronto's worse. Fuck Toronto. I would not want to live downtown Toronto. I would rather shoot myself. The traffic there is way worse than anything I've ever experienced out here. Once in a blue moon, you get bad traffic, really bad traffic here. But it's once in a blue moon. What's up, James Mercer? Happy 420 to you. Oh, Miss K, you can do something with Mars Hydro. It's not my place to say, and it doesn't make me sad. It's okay. At the end of the day, I branded myself the outlier YouTube that doesn't play nice with large conglomerate companies and swings his dick at people. I swung my dick at Mars Hydro. I released a lighting brand. I swung my dick at Niwa Grow Systems. I took issues, but you don't have to be me, right? There's already a me. Other channels don't need to do that, right? I can do it because again, I will say this. If I had not have taken my outlier stance, if I had not been so steadfast to my morals and values about things like that, my channel would be 10, 20 times bigger than it is right now. If we had kept playing nice with corporations, we would have gotten sponsorships. We would have made money. We would have been huge. We would have had so much more reach all over the world. But that's just not the way I did it. But it is very helpful to channel growth to not be me. and just play nice with companies. So, you know, I can be a rebel for all of us. What's up, Anthony Cordero? Happy 420, baby. And happy Easter, too. But yeah. Okay, 1 second here. Check this out, though. I'm not going to show anyone too much right now because I want to, like, save it for the video tomorrow, but look what we got going on here. You get to see all of this up close and personal tomorrow. You just get to peek through the top of my tent right now. I know it's 420, but I'm making a video tomorrow, so I don't want to ruin the video tomorrow. See there in the back. I don't know if I can get it without. See in the back there. That's the one top we bent. This top here probably will need to be bent. So there's going to be a few of them that get bent down, but our stretch is slowing. I'm thinking I only got to do a couple of folds and we'll be good to go. But she's coming together though. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks. And we will be releasing the update on that one tomorrow. So that'll come out. Realistically, I'm probably going to shoot that on the earlier side of the day. So right now my lights run 7 to 7. So they go to bed at 7 p.m., even though I think it's more like 7:09 now because I had to record an audition the other day and I was lazy, so I turned everything off. It took me 9 minutes to get the shots done that I needed to do. So that's changed the timer, and I haven't reset the timer yet. So it's more like 7:09 to 7:09. But yeah, so we'll release that probably my time, probably by, my best guess is by like 2 to 4 p.m. tomorrow my time. So if you're on like Ontario time or East Coast time, that's like roughly 3 hours ahead of me. So, you know, that would be like 5 to 8, maybe. Oh, yeah. No, Miss K, wait till you see this thing in personal tomorrow once we open the door and get all up close and personal on it. I mean, she is a bushy lady. She's thick. She's luxurious. She's got literally tops for days, buds all the way down. Even the bottom branches that I haven't lollipopped, because normally I lollipop the bottom 30% of my plant, covered in buds. Like, it's just bud everywhere on this stupid plant. It's amazing. And she's having a good time. So, and I'm having fun with it too. I think this one's going to turn out quite funky. Based on what I'm seeing, okay, at 2 weeks of flower almost, which is tomorrow, so basically we're almost there. Honestly, unless she starts to really mature very quickly in the latter weeks, I definitely think this might actually end up running 10 weeks to get it to the point of where I want it, just based off of its initial bud structure at 2 weeks. But that isn't necessarily what will happen. I mean, she could speed up. I've watched plants be really slow to start and then have this amazing bulking in the middle and then this final very quick push, and all of a sudden in like 2 weeks where you thought it was going to be 4 weeks to finish, it was 2 weeks and it's done and you're like, holy shit. So it could go that way too. It's hard to say, but I'm definitely leaning towards 9 or 10 weeks, currently at 2 weeks almost of flower. But it's hard to say, right? Like, I'm just guessing. You never know what's going to happen. And that's part of the fun of growing cannabis and rolling with the punches and seeing where she's going to go and what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, we're going to do that update video tomorrow. And like I said, right now we're sitting roughly, 10 days left in the month. So over the next 10 days, we will shoot that new educational video talking about the variable effect of different areas of the world. And that'll be coming out this month. That'll be our monthly educational video for the week. And then I got to come up with what we'll do in May. We'll do something fun in May too. And even though I've got to clean up my balcony, and I said last year I was going to do some plants outside. I haven't started anything to put outside, but maybe I'll just grab a couple of clones. We'll throw a clone or two out on my balcony too and see what happens. I don't know. But maybe we'll try to do this year. Why not? Just having fun. Why not? Time is it? It's now 8:01. I need to leave by 9 to get to Richmond. It's going to be weird. I haven't been to church in years, everybody. So James Mercer, I can speak to that. So one, we got to remember that most breeding practices that are utilized by most breeders are not only improper breeding practices with zero stabilization. Um, Genetics and colloquial modern day genetics are very prone to herming in general these days. Okay, so right now we've been compounding genetics for the better part of like 30 years now, where feminization really took off sort of the year 2000. But what happens is when you start compounding genetics that are start off in a stable sense, and then everybody and their grandma starts fucking with them, and everyone starts back crossing them and feminizing everything, and compounding genetic fragmentation through then crossing with other feminized and other this or that, and it all compounds. And what you get left with are, sure, like this has led some of these practices to sort of higher THC levels, which actually doesn't matter at the end of the day, and sort of certain numbers and certain profiles or certain looks, certain frostabilities, shall we say. But genetics in general now are very fragile. So a lot of colloquial modern genetics are, even without cloning, you fart on them wrong, they're going to herm on you. You look at them wrong, you talk to them wrong, they'll herm on you or have other weird issues. So what you're witnessing is just genetic fragility, okay? And this is why I've always been an advocate to people to not buy feminized genetics. You will have a vastly more stable, safer thing, even of a modern genetic, if you can find a regular version of it. If you buy regular, everyone's like, well, what? Then I'm going to waste time on males and this and that. Well, one, there are options to figure out early on what's a male and what's a female. Secondly, getting used to judging pre-sex glands is very important because it's a skill that every grower should have. Is it a perfect ability? No, but like 95% of the time, I can read a pre-gland and I'm right in terms of where it's going. And also at the end of the day, grow them out in solo cups. They're only going to get so big. They will gender in those solo cups, right? So you don't have to waste a huge amount of space. You don't have to waste a huge amount of power. You can do all that with a smaller light. And then, you just pick what you want and then get rid of the other ones. Also, too, the great thing about regular seeds is if you want to make seeds for yourself or for your friends or for everybody, you can, right? Like you can start making your own seed, right? And I think if you go back in time, for example, right? Think about farmers. Farmers used to predominantly produce their own seed back in the day. Back in the day, and we're talking like food and shit, obviously, farmers would produce their own seed a lot of the time, okay? That was a wonderful thing. It kept you safe. It cut costs. It kept costs down. But now, so many farmers are literally dependent, not on just buying their seed from other sources. They're dependent on, fertilizers from other sources. Like they're not self-resilient anymore. So self-resiliency, I think, is a really important thing. Like what happens if the end of the world happens? And let's say a bunch of us survive, but the modern day world's gone. No. Fuck, you're probably going to want to smoke weed more then than now. Especially if the world's gone to pot. No pun intended. Making your own seeds is an important thing. Having genetic stability for future generations in the future of cannabis, in my humble 2 cents, is important too, right? Oh, 100% Reverend Veritas. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Reverend Veritas said, having a megacorp locking in their patented genetics is a recipe for disaster as a farmer. 100%. But it is so commonplace now in agriculture and food production in this world. So the same can be said to cannabis in the basic sense of, feminization, buying from compounded feminizations where you don't know the lineage, you don't know where that genetic came from, you don't know what's all been done over the years to create these sort of fragmentations. So people always bitch, though. They're like, whoa, I'm going to waste this time on a male. I'd rather waste my time on a few males and then get a few females that I know are going to be safer and more stable than trust in a feminized, floopy genetic that is purported to be really great and be so frosty and look so good and do all this and have these off-the-charts numbers. Then it's going to herm on my ass and destroy my whole crop? That seems like a bigger waste of time and money to me Okay? That seems like a much bigger waste of time and money to me than me worrying about a couple of males. You know what I'm saying? And the fact is, you know what? Even if you get some males and you don't want to do some breeding with it, dude, if you got animals, feed them to the animals. Chickens love that shit. Pigs love that shit. I love that shit. Yes, I'm putting myself in the same rank as chickens and pigs. Put that shit in your smoothie, man. It's one of the best sources of, vitamins and minerals and all this kind of shit. It's awesome. There's uses for it. Even if you've got a cull of male, use those leaves, baby. Make yourself a salad. Make yourself a smoothie. Shit's good for you. It's also really good for your gut health and your intestinal tract. As someone who suffers with IBS, I can attest to that. Okay? So that's where the argument of pro-feminized genetics, like, I don't want to waste my time with males. I'm like, all right, cool. Go waste your fucking whole crop then with a fucking herm. Like, you know what I mean? Like that it doesn't even make sense. What costs you more time and money? Having to kill a couple plants that were males 3 or 4 weeks into veg, or running a whole room, a whole crop, having one or more of your plants herm, and then go fucking knock up your whole crop. Now you've got a whole crop of seeded garbage. Yes, you can still do some things with it. Yes, once in a blue moon, does a mistake like that lead to something fun that exists, like Gorilla Glue number 4? Yeah, it does. But Gorilla Glue number 4 still herms like a motherfucker. It may be fire, it may have a weird taste, a weird smell, and a weird enjoyment to it, but it still fucking herms like a motherfucker. You fart on it wrong and it herms. So, I don't know. In my humble 2 cents, and in my basic breakdown of this, I think the safest route, the smartest route, and to be honest with you, the most efficient route is growing regular genetics, not growing feminized genetics. Fuck feminized genetics. Once in a blue moon, if all you have left is this one plant or this one seed, you get it to go, it's a female, and you don't want to lose that genetic. Fuck yes, back cross that shit. I'm not saying there's never a use for the technique, but you don't back cross it unless you have to, right? You back cross it as an emergency stop to keep that genetic alive. Ooh, and funny thing how that works. That's exactly why the plant does that, right? We have been utilizing the plant's Plan Z. It's a Danger Will Robinson emergency mechanism to perpetuate the species. Cannabis has the ability to grow male glands and fuck itself to perpetuate the species. The plant's genome isn't doing this because it wants to do this. It would much rather get knocked up by a normal male plant. It would be like, hey, big boy, nut all over my titties. Like, that's what it wants. But if there's no males to play, okay, then it's going to grow its own nuts and nut on its own titties. And that is an amazing, wonderful, cool ability that Mother Nature has gifted to the cannabis genome. And then a bunch of dumb monkeys like us come around and use that as our primary breeding tactic over 20 years? Of course we're going to fuck shit up. We're using the Plan Z as a Plan A. Never was meant to be a Plan A. It's meant to be a Plan Z. Or Z for you Americans watching, Is there a proper way to fart on it? To what desired result, Tom B? To what desired result, Tom B? Oh, man, that's funny. But to add to the point of what I'm saying, sorry, I just found that quite funny, of why I'm pro-regular genetics. And this isn't a new topic. I've been talking about this off and on for years. I love this. Reverend Veritas, the flatulence technique was lost to the ages and is only practiced by remote Tibetan monks. Tom B says, to avoid the hermy, you said farting on it wrong and they hermy. Yeah, just don't fart on them, typically, especially if you're growing your fragile genetic. Just try to keep the flatulence to yourself, Leave it to the Tibetan monks, as Reverend Veritas shared with us there. Hey, thanks, Jay Green. It won't ever be going super big. I got to keep it kind of groomed nicely for my acting career and stuff. But, sorry. Flatulence in Tibetan monks. What did they talk about on Easter 420? Well, first it started with zombie Jesus, and then they went to, farting on plants and Tibetan monks. Um, but back to what I was saying. That's why, for example, with all of our genetics that we sell in our store, right? One, we've made them affordable, right? Like, we are one of the most affordable seed brands in the world. Um, you know, and we do large packs. We do affordable large packs so that even if half your beans go male, right, you're still going to get a shitload of females too. And really, like, for me, the perfect breakdown, and yes, I do like to breed, but even if I'm not breeding, like, I want a 50-50 gender breakdown on anything I grow if I can get it, because that's also indicative of a really balanced genome. It's got both sides of the whole there. It's stable. It's not so far removed from the way it's really supposed to be in the cannabis kingdom naturally. Then we came along and fucked it. So, basically, in a sense, euthanizing the ability to be a proper male out of the cannabis genome, right? And it's like, so, I don't know. Tom P. Maybe that's why we say it's good shit. It could be. I don't know necessarily where the colloquial turn of phrase of when something's positive, saying like calling it shit or good shit. Things like that though are very confusing for people who are just learning English. By the way, I will say that, like, in English, we have like a lot of weird turns of phrase that we know means something else, but like to someone just learning English, it's very confusing. They're like, what? Hey, Betty, that's rude.
Oh, so cute. Oh, so cute, Betty. Oh, so cute. Oh, so cute, Monkey and Betty. Yes. Yes. You need a bath. You got lots of dander, Betty. Yeah.
Shh. Bear with me here, everybody. I'm just reading. No, totally, Joe Burns. And I mean, that's the thing. You got to remember, cannabis in and of itself is one of the most adaptable plants out there, okay? There's a reason why we called it a weed, basically, because weeds are typically known for being resilient, being able to survive the most harshest of climates. I think we've forgotten how tough and adaptable this plant is sometimes, because we became cultivators and we're always trying to produce the best crop we can, to produce the highest numbers we can, to produce the best looking bud that we can, both through breeding practices, through growing techniques, and all of that, which is wonderful, right? Like, I mean, I love weed, so I do the same thing, right? But we got to remember, though, too, that cannabis in and of itself, in terms of its genome, is like the perfectly suited plant, not only to survive, but to self-perpetuate and to adapt and change. So if you continuously, year to year, grow the same thing outside, for example, right? And then you allow some selective pollination to happen locally, which is tricky to do outdoors without destroying your whole crop, but it is possible at the same time, too. You just got to be very careful. Maybe that's a video we should make about talking about that. That would be interesting. We can maybe get Gazzers in on that video and a couple of outdoor growers to add their 2 cents to that. But the plant itself, generation to generation, will adapt to its localized area. It will change. It will develop. And the same is to be said for most flora and fauna that exist on the planet. So that in and of itself, its adaptability is very cool. And it takes time. And that's the same basic principle of what we're doing when it comes to indoor breeding and selective breeding over time of stabilizing a strain. And what we're doing is we're looking out for certain traits and certain desired traits, and then we're picking those and trying to selectively inbreed a line to reduce the unwanted options while maximizing the positive options that we do see, or positive traits within a genetic, right? So that is kind of cool too. But yeah, don't forget about that. 1 second here. Okay, good. I haven't missed anything. That's great. Wonderful. But, yeah, so I'm going to have to wrap this up soon. So I got to go put on pants and go to church. Probably important to put on pants before I show up at a church. It get a little weird when you walk in with your dick hanging out, But going to go be supportive. I haven't been to church in I don't even know when, man. It's been years. But I'm trying to be supportive to my old father. You know, he's almost 70 now. And back at the work, you know, preaching and doing church things and all of that jazz. So, you know, um, I love it. Tom B's like, oh, great. We're going to see people trying to sell canned farts again, but this isn't a gag. It's for weed growth. It's like, do you want your plant to do really well? This is one can of pure Potsquatch farts, produced by the Potsquatch himself. Put on a whole bloody diet of beans for a week before he made this can of farts for you. CO2, yes, use your CO2, but also put in a canister of Potsquatch farts. This is where the best weed comes from. If I ever stick a tube in my ass and start trying to can that, sell it to you on our store, please someone shoot me, okay? Please shoot me then. I've lost it. I've gone deluded. It's time to euthanize Uncle Potsquatch if that happens. Oh, fuck. That's funny. Yeah, don't worry, D-Line. I'm gonna be putting on pants before I go to church to be supportive of my old priest father, who's back in the game and being a priest person. Um, yeah, we'll see. But so okay, circling back around to where before I distracted myself with funny thoughts. Tomorrow we will be releasing our 2 weeks of flower update video. Okay. We will be having that come out probably anywhere from between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. That's Vancouver time. So, funnily enough, actually, you know, as my dad would say, it's like, oh, if you're in church and you got a fart, just let her rip. That's what my dad would say. But that video will be coming out tomorrow, so that'll be a lot of fun. In the next 10 days, we'll be releasing our first educational video in a long time that I've made reference to earlier, talking about different climates, different variables affecting the response and actuation of different genetic traits and how they function in different localized areas. And talking about how that is something to just in general be mindful to. We will talk about that in terms of an outdoor climate, but then also talk about how this general concept also applies to the indoor grower and the fact that we're basically emulating Mother Nature on an inside environment. With the right toys and tools, we can augment a lot of these same exact variables to fucking get what we want out of the plant, you know? So that's kind of fun. So we'll make a video talking about that. And that'll be released in the next 10 days. And I think going forward, I think there's a good chance we'll get back to not only just our weekly update video, but at least one live stream show a week, as well as one educational video a month, and that's something I can commit to for show. Joe Burns, farts of Christ, or do you mean farts for Christ? Anyway, yeah, I'll try not to fart in church, everyone, and it'll be okay. It would be funny, Tom B. I'm gonna instead though. I'm gonna dress like a thug. I'm gonna walk in with all my bling and my rings on, drive up in a Cadillac with the Potsquatch Growers sticker on the back, banging gangster rap with a subwoofer that shakes the whole car, and I'm gonna drive up to the church of old people like that, and that is how I'm going to make my appearance at the church, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this scary looking dipshit asshole?" And then it'll come out that this is in fact the son of the priest. It will be hilarious. Anyway, thank you, my friends, for tuning in today. I'm sorry for the show being so early, but it was just me fitting it in when I had time and the ability to do so for everybody around the world. I figured, it wouldn't be too bad. Plus, most people are out celebrating Easter. Most people are celebrating Easter or 420 with their friends and family. So I hope everyone around the world has a wonderful Easter and 420. I hope you are all able to spend some time with someone you care about. And if you're all alone, well, I'm there with you in spirit, okay? Know that we all care about each other. We're a community. We're a family here. We are all Potsquatches. And keep it real and love each other, okay? The world's in a dark place right now. The world is more fucked now than it has ever really been in a lot of ways. So be nice to each other. Be compassionate to each other. And I will implore everyone at home whether you're left, right, center, moderate, progressive, you don't identify anywhere on a political spectrum. We don't have to see things the same way to treat each other with respect and compassion and empathy, okay? Um, there's more of us that aren't dick fucks than there are dick fucks, okay? And if we unite, if we stand, and we stand for what is important to us as a majority of the human race, we will survive all of these weird, crazy things, my friends. So stick with it and stick with each other. And the fact is if we all thought the same way, if we all viewed things the same way, we wouldn't have cannabis the way we do. We wouldn't have movies the way we do. We wouldn't have art the way we do. We wouldn't have free thought. Free thought is diversity. Free thought and truth of the diversity of humanity, which is what makes life interesting. It's what makes all the things that we all love in different facets around us interesting. Is derived from the fact that we're all different. It's derived from the fact that we all view things and experience things differently. So let's let our differences empower us and bring us together rather than divide us and throw us off the deep end, if that makes sense. But anyway, my friends, my family, if you're new, please like, subscribe. The update video comes out tomorrow. Tell your friends. If you'd like to buy anything, you're welcome to. If you don't want to, doesn't fucking matter either. It's just an option for those out there who choose to. Hats, t-shirts, grinders, rolling papers, genetics, beard oil, all that jazz is all available on the Potsquatch sales.com website. Check that out if you'd like to. Yeah, love each other. Love each other. And happy bloody Easter. Happy fucking 420, everyone. And I will also say, remember. No, not yet, Miss K's Garden. I haven't had the financial means to order more big shirts. Basically, I've been digging myself out of debt because I didn't work a lot last year when I almost died and I was out of work for a long time. So I'm almost out of debt now. I've almost done it successfully. But we will get more t-shirts in. Don't worry. I was actually talking to our t-shirt supplier. Well, actually, it was the person who represented the company that we got the t-shirts from last time. She has actually started her own company. So we will support the little guy, well, technically the little woman, technically, who has branched away from the big company and is now doing her own thing. So out of respect for her, so the next batch of t-shirts will be the same as the ones now in terms of what they basically look like and all of that. But we will be supporting a small family-owned company for that rather than, going with a bigger company. So we will get those soon. I just, I'm getting really close to where I'm going to be able to afford to buy small batches of things and put it back on the store. But anyway, remember, the true grower is the forever student. The true grower is not afraid to take risks. The true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. Love yourselves, love your plants, and love each other. Word to your mother. We'll see you next time. Happy 420 Easter. Uncle Potsquatch loves you. See you tomorrow in the video, everybody. Peace.